acting against protesters who caused chaos at the launch of that book, Gangster State, as we just spoke about. Now, some of the protesters who disrupted the event last night wore ANC T-shirts. For more on this, we're joined by Samkelo Mokhine from the Freedom of Expression Institute. Samkelo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I got to speak to the author of the book this morning, and I pointed out that it's 2019, it's just over 20 years into our democracy. Can you believe at this stage that we're dealing with the threats of people wanting to burn books because they don't agree with its contents?
No, absolutely. And, you know, in terms of the context to it, one thing that must be noted is that the Secretary General of the ANC, who's the subject of the book, knew about the book and its contents for some time. And for some time, he said that he's going to take legal action. So that has not happened, and the book has been...
And I asked the author
yes.
that up until this morning they had not received any legal papers of any kind.
Yes, so I think the ANC Youth League, whichever branch it was, should have taken the cue out of exactly that if the person who is the subject of the book has not made any attempts to deal with the book, either getting through an interdict or whatever else that he could do legally, then they really don't have any business doing what they did.
Well, for the last 24 hours or so, less than 24 hours, people have been speaking about a movement of anti-intellectualism in an important organization like the ANC or in certain parts of our society. Are you fearful that that is a movement that's gaining traction?
We haven't seen anything that indicates that there is traction being gained, but the mere talk about it is something that's worrisome. And given the centrality of the freedom of expression in terms of our constitutional values, it is worrying indeed.
Now, you just listened to that interview I did with the National Secretary General of the ANC Youth League. It's probably a little bit more concerning that we're speaking about a group of people, the youth in South Africa, that is important when it comes to these conversations. Do you think that there's enough of an understanding amongst our youth that we protect these freedoms of expression, such as books being published, even if it's about controversial subject matter?
I don't think the understanding is as clear as it should be. I mean, when you talk to the ANC seems very clear about how to protect these values, the reasons why they must be protected, and the history that got us to have these things protected in the Constitution. But for people that are supposed to be future leaders, it's not as clear.
Now, you say the leadership of the ANC seems to be proving that fact, but just last week we had a situation where a member of the top six was involved in a face-off with one of our reporters here at ENCA, and this too started the conversation about certain parts of the governing party not completely being on the same page when it comes to the role of the media and what their job is.
Yeah, that interaction was very unfortunate indeed, and in a run-up to an election, that's even more worrisome. So I just hope and trust that what subsequently happened will not discourage journalists in general, and maybe my namesake Samkelo in particular, and yeah, that they'll continue to do their work without fear or favor, and that the Constitution is there to protect them.
The ANC has come out saying that they would be investigating what happened last night. Jackson Mthembu saying he'll be mobilizing the ANC National Working Committee. How important would it be to see some kind of action to nip this in the bud?
Yes, if you refer to the incident with the ENCA reporter and what happened last night, there definitely is a need for them to come down quite hard. Words are one thing, but I think action will speak louder than the words that they are saying.
Now, your organization continues to do research around these freedoms that are protected by our Constitution. Where is the health of that sector of our society as we are just about a month away from our election?
The health is decent, we must say, but problems start with speeches and with incidents like this. And when you think about the youth and how much is invested in the youth, and it comes from the Youth League, it is worrying that protection of any constitutional values needs vigilance. We mustn't let our guard down and say it's just here or there or this incident. In as much as it's in good health, we must stay vigilant and make sure that as these incidents come up, we deal with them and deal with them decisively.
We'll leave it there. That is Samkelo Mokhine from the Freedom of Expression Institute. Thank you so much for your time this morning.